reparations is not a nicety. It's not something nice to have for black folk. It is now an absolute necessity. If you do not get reparations soon, black folk, as I told you before, are through. Reparation is not a nicety, it's a necessity. What are the conditions? What are the conditions that precipitated black folk getting into this dilemma? And what black labor, white wealth did, it tracked 800 years of history in very systematic terms to show you every strategy, every technique, every law, every public custom, and every public policy that was used to enslave black folk around the world and to maldistribute almost 100% of all this nation's wealth, power, resource, privileges, businesses, and controls of all levels of government into the hands of the dominant white society. And what slavery and Jim Crow segregation did with black folk, it intentionally maldistributed all the resources away from black folk and created a real-life monopoly game. Black folk in America are playing in a real-life monopoly game that you're totally ill-prepared to play and win.
Peace, family. Welcome to Black Star TV 2.0. It's your boy, Black Star. I want to start off by thanking all my subscribers and all the people who support the channel. I appreciate the love and support. Please, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, man. Hit that like button to smash that joint. We're about to talk about this reparations article that was put out by The Hill, who's a quote-unquote black publication. And I wanted to, address that along with showing some other stuff, to a little bit debunk some of the stuff that they were saying in there, because they were saying there's a lot of some outlandish stuff that, I don't agree with, but, it is what it is. But let's get into this, family. So let me share my screen with y'all real quick. So the article from The Hill, right? This was written, and they put this. I never got this. Like, why are you letting people write in your article that's for black people? If the views expressed by the contributors are their own and not the views of The Hill. But I don't even know why you would allow somebody who has a different views than what you express to write in your publication. But again, that's a whole different story. So California's reparation proposal may carry a steep price for Democrats. Look at this goofy looking sucker right here. So a long-awaited meeting of San Francisco's Board of Supervisors was set this week to discuss the recommendations of its African-American Reparations Advisory Committee to give $5 million to each eligible black resident as reparations. So the meeting was postponed, but the city and state soon must make a decision on the bill that has come due to the Democratic politicians. So the city voted unanimously to create the Reparations Committee in 2022, even though California was a free state without slavery before the Civil War. See what I mean? Now, I'm going to show you guys something real quick. They had slavery in San Bernardino. This is the Los Angeles Times, right? Y'all can read this article yourself. I'm not going to read this, but San Bernardino definitely had slavery. So them making that statement already in the beginning of the article is inaccurate. It's definitely inaccurate. So they already starting off again, and I don't understand why a black publication who's quote unquote, would say they're for reparations, right? Let somebody write an article in here to lie about what's going on as we push for our reparations. The committee's particular focus has been the era of urban renewal, perhaps the most significant example of how the city and county of San Francisco as an institution played a role in undermining black wealth and actively displacing the city's black population. That could be viewed only as a partial payment for race-related injuries. And we don't want race-related injury. We want lineage-related, because that's how it all happens, right, family? So, again, in a second, I'm going to wind up playing Dr. Claude Anderson, and he's going to explain exactly why one part of this article is wrong. So, in the meantime, California Governor Gavin Newsom created his own reparations task force, which just reached its own recommendations for $223,000, per person. Others have insisted the figure should be $350,000 for individuals, and other $250,000 for Black-owned businesses. One California politician insisted that the figures need to be $800,000 per person, reflected the average cost of a home in that state, and I agree with that as well. As these numbers rise, so do the calls for payments in both politics and the media. Even Disney has gotten into the act of controversial children's episode in which the cartoon demanded reparations. Now, when you hit this link right here, it actually sends you to this right here, family. Now, why would the Hill be allowing somebody to put this up, you feel me, inside their article when you talking about reparations for Black people? And now you have somebody who's in wokeness. See, and I told you that whole wokeness is in Blackness for real, right? That whole wokeness, we already talked about how they're demonizing the word woke, right? They want you to be sleep, right? Because if you're not woke, you're sleep. And if you're sleep, that's when they call you a sheep. But now they're trying to end wokeness because they want you sleep still, right? That's how deep that is. So this scene from Disney cartoon called The Proud Family, blatant anti-white propaganda. Now, why would they have this linked to this article about our reparations? But I'm going to play this for you guys real quick. It's only a minute and 45 seconds.
This country was built on slavery, which means slaves built this country. Tilled this land from sea to sea to sea. First it was rice, tobacco, sugar cane. Then Whitney did his thing and cotton became king. And we were its soldiers, 4 million strong, fighting for America's freedoms, even though we remained America's slaves. Built this country. The descendants of slaves continue to build this. Slaves built this country. And we, the descendants of slaves in America, have earned reparations for their stuff and continue to earn reparations every moment we spend submerged in the systemic prejudice, racism, and white supremacy that America was standing with and still has not atoned for. Slaves built this country. Not only field hands, but carpenters, masons, blacksmiths, musicians, inventors built cities from Jamestown to New Orleans to Banneker, Washington. 40 acres and a mule. We'll take the 40 acres, keep the mule. We made your families rich. From the southern plantation heirs to the northern bankers to the New England ship owners, the founding fathers, former presidents, current senators, the Illuminati, the New World Order. Slaves built this country. We had Tubman, Turner, Frederick D. Didn't they say Lincoln freed the slaves? But slaves were men. And women. And only we can free ourselves. Emancipation is not freedom. Jim Crow, segregation, redlining, public schools, feeding private prisons, where we become slaves again. As we celebrate Juneteenth for the umpteenth time, our account is still outstanding. Because this country was built on slavery, which means slaves built this country. And we demand our 40 acres and a mule. You can keep the mule. Keep the 40. We're taking our freedom.
Why he say keep the 40? That nigga wow. But that's what I'm saying. Okay, so now watch this, family. So this is blatant anti-white propaganda. They said that's blatant anti-white propaganda. So again, why would they link this to that and then say California didn't even have slaves? See what I'm saying? You're allowing somebody to come on your Black publication who mostly Black people, you guys cater to a Black audience. And now this is what you're pushing to your Black audience to let them know that, or think or assume that there was no slavery in California, and that this is so-called white propaganda. Notably, California's law expressly states that this money should not be treated as compensation for federal reparations, which it shouldn't. That raises the question of whether a resident could receive $5 million from San Francisco or $223,000 from the state and additional payments from the federal government, right? Hey, man, listen, we should receive state and federal reparations, right? Even though reparations is really a federal thing, right? But again, the state can do what they want, and we will take that shit from the state if they're going to do it. So some congressional Democrats have pushed for similar federal reparations and passed a bill out to the House Judiciary Committee in 2021 that failed to receive a floor vote. BET founder Rob Johnson has called for 14 14 trillion in federal reparations. These reparation measures have a remarkable range of focus, from slavery to housing discrimination to wealth inequity in California. There was a sharp disagreement on the purpose, with any advocates arguing that it was wrong to limit the money to descendants of slaves. You crazy as hell. That's the only people it's getting linked to. The task force member, Reggie Jones Sawyer, Democrat of Los Angeles, insisted that at the end of the day, people who are prejudiced against us are prejudiced against all of us. See, again, they always trying to put some old goofy, we are all one in this when it comes to compensating us. Unfortunately, advocates like Jones Sawyer lost a closed vote on extending state reparations to all Black Americans. Word. The state task force voted to limit it to descendants of slaves. There are almost 3 million potential eligible Californians. And shout out to all my California people, man. Make sure y'all stay on their ass with this too. The two reparation bodies were tasked with calculating reparations awards, and both the city and the state will now be pressed to make good on their commitments. And that's the thing. This is why they want to turn this down, this whole reparations thing down, because it's forcing them to have to do something. That's the whole thing with HR 40. And shout out to my brother Afro Elite, who I actually heard say that not too long ago about HR 40. I actually got a video on HR 40, and I was saying the same thing. I'm not saying he got it from me or anything like that. I'm just saying we, great minds think alike. So he was actually talking about how HR 40, if it gets passed, it's going to put the pressure now on them to now come up with some numbers and come up with stuff that they have to give us. You feel me? That's why they don't want to do the HR 40 thing, and it's been in limbo for 30 years, because the moment you pass it, it's going to put the pressure on you to now have to act. All right, so how long you want to study? 1, 2, 3 years? Let's say you just study for 5 years. After that 5 years, now you want to come up with something, because it's not like you're going to study it and say, oh, yeah, you know what? They don't get anything, right? So it's forcing them to have to do something. But let me finish my, what's the name? The cost of such policies commended by critics as virtue signaling are being faced by some other jurisdictions as well. For example, New York and numerous other cities have declared themselves to be sanctuaries for undocumented immigrants, yet in recent months have protested increasing transfers of the immigrants to their jurisdiction. I know that's right. Y'all want to bring all them immigrants in, but y'all don't want them to go to y'all state. That's funny. The cost of California's statewide reparations is estimated to be $569 billion. The state's annual budget is roughly half of that, at $268 billion, making things even more difficult that the state faces $22.5 billion deficit and is seeking spending cuts to cover all shortfalls. You're going to have to cover it, fam. And if you go into debt, so fucking what? Because you know why? Our ancestors went into debt working for free. You feel what I'm saying? Working for free. So, hey, bro, y'all go in debt, you just going to be just like the federal government who's in debt, quote unquote debt, as they sit here and print all this money. This may not be a bill that can be politically postponed, given past statements by the governor and other Democratic politicians. That leads to the question of such programs' constitutionality. Even after the political approval of payments, it is not clear that this money will ever be paid. Yes, it will. It's definitely going to be paid, family. And this is why they want us to think that it might never come happen, but it is definitely happening. Trust me. Under the U.S. Constitution's 14th Amendment, race-based classifications triggered strict scrutiny, requiring a showing of both a compelling state interest and narrowly tailored means. In City of Richmond versus J.A. Croshan, the Supreme Court struck down a set-aside for minority businesses due to the lack of evidence for specific injuries. We got specific injuries. The court ruled that general past discrimination was not enough and added that the dream of a nation of equal citizens in a society where a race is irrelevant to personal opportunity and achievement would be lost in a mosaic of shifting preference based on inherently unmeasurable claims of past wrongs. That was a whole bunch of bullshit. The dream of a nation of equal citizens in a society where race is irrelevant to personal opportunity and achievement would be lost in a mosaic of shifting preferences based on inherently unmeasurable claims of past wrongs. That's all bullshit. That was a whole bunch of blah, blah, blah word salad that they try to just throw in here to make it sound good, right? But again, off that whole race-based injury, this is not a race-based injury. This is a lineage-based injury, right? We're going to get into this right here. This is where I'm going to get into our Dr. Cloud Anderson in a second. Then Justice Paul Stevens added his liberal voice against such programs, noting they have to make it seem like these people are liberal. And it makes it seem like that to make you think that, you know what, oh, the Democrats who are for you, they don't even think this should be done. Man, squeeze them. Squeeze the Democrats and the Republicans. A liberal voice against such programs, noting that Richmond's law encompasses persons who have never been in business in Richmond, as well as a minority contractor who may have been guilty of discrimination against members of the minority groups. Now, we ain't talking about minorities, fam. The reparations given in 1988 to Japanese Americans who survived World War II internment camps posed an easier issue since the recipients were directly injured by the government and the money was meant to compensate them for their injuries. But what's up with the natives? See, they brought in Japanese because that was one particular group that actually happened to them. But you have natives out here right now who are getting reparations for stuff that didn't directly happen to them. And we're going to go listen to our brother, Dr. Claude Anderson now. And here we go.
Took away from, stole from the Native Americans, made treaties that ultimately were broken, if you want to say willy-nilly. That's where willy-nilly came in. So if you want to address that for a moment.
Well, yes, it started at one of the first treaties was the New York Treaty about 1516 that came in. That was one of the first treaties. But in every one of those treaties that they set up with the Indians, they put an inclusion in there saying this, that if you were to cooperate with us and be able to help us maintain the slavery system we set up in this country, you know, and we will reward you and compensate you. We'll give you clothing, we'll give you food, we'll give you weapons, you know, and we'll even call you civilized if you help us maintain slavery. Every treaty contained a clause to help Indians to shut down black folk. Slavery could never have existed in this country and been maintained without the full participation of the American tribes. That's why they started calling them civilized rock, because they began to say, you quit hunting in the woods and running wild and get yourself some land and get yourself some slaves. So Indians became slave hunters, slave traders, and in the final analysis, all civilized tribes, the Choctaw, Chickasaw, Cherokee, and Seminole Indians, they all fought with the South to maintain slavery. And so therefore, and they got benefits from it. And that led to, going back to the earlier question you asked me about reparations. And even after the Civil War ended, the Choctaw and Chickasaw were still holding about 12 or 15,000 slaves, even after the Civil War ended. The United States government sent in troops saying, you got to get rid of this slavery and set black folk free. And they set up what's called the 1866 Indian treaties with these 5 civilized tribes, which says that black people in this country must not only turn them loose, they must get benefits. They must get forms of reparations. Going back to your earlier question, you must first of all set them free. 2, you must give them an option. And this is for all black freedmen and all black who live in the Indian territory and all black Indians. You must set them free, allow them to have membership in the tribe. You must give them, let them have access to all the resources on the reservation. You must let them also be tax exempt. You must let them have free education. You must also let them be able to give them $150 in cash. You must give them 160 acres of land. And in present day times, those black Indians under the 1866 treaty should be they could also hold gambling casinos. Now, this country has never carried out the full mandates, but yet we're still honoring it for Indians. Right now, all the benefits that Indians are getting in this country are getting it from the 1866 Indian Treaty. Because they took up arms.
All the natives who getting it right now is getting it from the 1866 treaty. We talk about right now.
Against the United States in the Civil War, they wiped out all previous treaties. Now, every year in the White House, we get about 560-something white Indian chiefs, which in history they call $5 Indians, because 90% of the people who call themselves Indians nowadays are not really Indians. Those are whites passing as Indians.
because they paid $5 to the Dawes Commission to get their name on the Dawes roll so they get all these advantages. But every year they get invited to the White House. And every year they got an approximate $3.5 billion every year, even that Obama's been in office.
Hold on, family.
Bureau. Now, see if you were talking.
Hold on, family. It just said they was getting it when Obama was in office, right? And every year. So, hold on.
Talk about reparations. Black folks have been getting all this money all these years too, but they got shut out because the Indians in 1938 they sent a letter to the Department of Bureau of Indian Affairs.
He's going to talk about the blood quantum law. But that's what I'm saying, family. So now, right, let's get back. You're talking about it was easier. Okay, so the reparations given in 1988 to Japanese Americans who survived World War II internment camps posed an easier issue since the recipients were directly injured by the government and the money was meant to compensate them for their injuries. So now what's up with the people who are Native, who was born the same year Obama was in office, right? That got in office in 2008. Was it 2008, right? He got in office and they was born in 2009 and they still getting checks. Easier issue. They getting it. So it's easy. That's an easy issue too. You ain't doing no study to make sure that one of these Native people who's 2 years old and make sure you get what I'm saying. You're not doing no study like that, like you trying to do with us and make it seem like they trying to make everything seem like it's hard when it's not. Giving us reparations is not a hard task. It's not. They're trying to make it hard. That's why I said this. The thing up there, the last little paragraph, dude was talking a whole bunch of word salad. I'm trying to tell you, family. So watch this. The decision to narrow programs like focusing on descendants of slaves or on housing deprivations will certainly better for constitutional review than a general reparations measure. However, even liberal scholars like Erwin I can't pronounce his name, seem to concede that these reparations measures would face serious legal headwinds in court. No, they wouldn't. It's only because y'all gonna make it like that in court, because we are in a country that has kangaroo court where anything goes. So I'm white and I say so, as you know, as our brother Tariq always says, I'm white and I say so, and that's why this stuff is happening like that. That's why it would be held up in court and all this headwinds and all this crazy stuff you're talking about. The likely legal challenges are not often considered in discussions of reparations because it shouldn't be. There's no legal challenges with Native Americans. There's no legal challenges with them. And he just spoke about the 1866 treaty that y'all giving them bread off that we mentioned in. But they could create a highly combustible situation if large reparations guaranteed were suddenly negated. Yeah, you're going to listen. Y'all going to give us some checks. I promise you. This is the part where I can't wait to get to, family. That legal fight, however, must await a moment of truth for California legislators. Democratic politicians have insisted for years that reparations are essential to address systemic racism. But politicians like Governor Newsom now face demands to put their money where their mouths have been. The years of calls for reparations have created a greater expectation, even urgency. One well-known California activist declared, "It's a debt that's owed. We work for free. We're not asking, we're telling." I know that's right. Whoever said that, shout out to y'all. The expectation is reflected in recent polling, showing a massive shift in the Black community on questions. 77% of Black Americans now support reparations, but overall, nearly 7 in 10, 68% of all respondents oppose such payments. You're full of shit. You're full of shit. Family, do y'all going to sit here and tell me, if we asked every single Black American, foundational Black American, who's eligible for reparations, do y'all think 68% of them would say no? Or even when they just said 77%, hold on one second. They said 77% support it right now, right? So that's about 33% oppose it, right? Family, do y'all think 33% of African Americans oppose reparations? I don't believe that whatsoever. I believe that you got less than 1% that oppose reparations. Man, listen, it's tax time right now, and everybody can't wait to get a check. And if you don't got no kids, you was kind of wishing you could claim somebody's kids so you can get that earned income credit to get you about a good 9,000, 7,000, 10,000, maybe. Like, come on, dog, you crazy. 8,000, come on, bro. So you telling me people fiending for this tax refund, but they saying no, we shouldn't get reparations if y'all was gonna give it out. So if y'all was gonna give it out, they just like, nah, you know what? I oppose that. We shouldn't get that. Yeah, where's my tax refund at though? Come on, family. Let's be real and let's stop letting them trying to finesse us into believing that, you know, it's a whole bunch of us out there who don't agree with it. That's BS. They doing that on purpose to try to sway us away. You feel what I'm saying? They trying to do that to sway us away. And again, this is another reason why you have a lot of people now coming out. Tariq actually just had something on his show the other day with some Indian dude, talking about reparations and how blacks didn't build the country. And this, they have to push them narratives now because reparations is coming. That shit is coming, dog. I'm trying to tell you, it's coming, and they know it. They know that it's only so much we can do. You know what I mean? It's only so much we can BS now, especially with the era that we in. And I always say that, bro. We in that information age, or we in this this social media age, for real. We're in this social media age where all information is getting out there and is getting out there fast to everybody, right? You have people in other countries talking about we should get it. Come on, man. This joint is going to happen, and they know it. They just trying to stall as much as they can. You feel what I'm saying? So they can try to put the onus on somebody else. But I'm trying to tell you, it's going to happen within the next, I would say, 5 to 10 years. I would even probably say it's going to happen before that. But I know for a fact, a lot of us still going to be alive when it happened. You feel me? A lot of us are still going to be alive when it happened, bro. Because we not about to sit here and let the next generation try to pick up where we left off. Hell no. If they picking up where we left off, it's to keep trying to get more and keep our thing going, just like the Native Americans constantly and consistently get reparations every single year. And what we not going to do, that's why I said anytime somebody like, oh, like when Umar was saying, oh, well, y'all just going to get a one-time payment, and they're going to say, well, you can't do this. But man, you crazy as hell, one-time payment. You crazy as hell. Nigga, the natives ain't do nowhere near the stuff we was doing in this country, and they getting that shit for eons. They've been getting that stuff for eons, bro. You're not about to play us like that with no one check, man. Y'all crazy as hell. Family, make sure you hit that subscribe button for me, man. Smash that like button, man. We coming to get this check, dog. We definitely coming to get this check, man. Peace, love, and reparations. But if it ain't got to be love, it got to be war. And we getting our money, dog, at the end of the day. Real talk, man. Because listen, we are owed a debt. It's as simple as that. Fam, if you gonna pay me mine, right? And it's just not even a debt just for free work. You was killing niggas' ancestors. You was feeding kids the alligator bait and peeling people's skin off and putting them on your shoes. Like, come on, dog. We're not about to do that. We're not about to do that. You're not about to try to act like you don't owe us. So what was the reason? What's the reason that the Native Americans get what they get? Drop a comment in the comment section, family. What is the reason that Native Americans get the money they get? And I'm going to tell you right now, only 5% of us came over here from Africa. It was already African Americans here. It was already foundational Black Americans here before Columbus and them came over here. So this wasn't just the red natives' land. It was our land too. So what is the reason that the natives get their money and we not getting ours? Answer that question. Why would natives get their money and why wouldn't we get ours? What's the whole reason for that? Besides the fact that you scared for us to kick up. You don't want us getting no resources because you know we're going to turn that resource into something, right? We're going to turn them resources into something. You're not going to catch us with reservations looking like them Native American reservations. And I ain't trying to dog them or nothing, but I just know the way we built Black Wall Street with nothing. Yo, our Black Wall Streets was better than they reservations, dog. And they was getting funded and we wasn't. Come on, man. Look at how they was living back then and look at how we was living during Black Wall Street. And we ain't get nothing straight out the mud. That's what I'm saying. But we want ours, dog. We not going to keep getting that out the mud while you trying to give it to everybody else. And every time we do get it out the mud, you sabotage our shit and make us have to start over and start over. Them days is over. Them days is over, fam. But family, peace and love and reparations, man. I just wanted to kick that with y'all. Make sure y'all check me out on my podcast, man. Anchor, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Hit the Patreon up, hit the Cash App up. You know what I'm saying? Hit that PayPal /me dot I said dot PayPal /me at Blackstar TV 20, man. The Cash App is $WILLIE 0312, man. Family, y'all be easy, man. Y'all have a blessed week, man. It's Tuesday, man. Just make sure y'all spend some time with your loved ones. We gotta stay on their ass, man. We're gonna stay on their ass about this reparations, man. Shout out to all the new Black media, all the people out there that's putting out that content, that's uplifting the community, everybody. Even if you don't feel as though you part of the new Black media and you do whatever, because we got like Black Magic 316, or I think it's 316. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But our brother Rich and all the other different people who, they don't really speak on reparations, but they definitely speak on uplifting information, man. That I still quote unquote call them the new Black media as well, because even though it's not like really news per se, but they still got a lot of uplifting information. The red pill, blue pill, all our people, man. All our people, we got to give shot and support all our brothers and sisters channels and support their content, because at the end of the day, family, we definitely got to get this out there, man. It costs you nothing to hit the like button. That shit is free, and it actually boosts the algorithm to get the content out there to people even more. You feel me? And a lot of our channels are being shadow banned, right? Our brother Ben X, Rizza Islam. You name our people, man. Like, we are being shadow banned heavy. So again, one way to, counter that is by hitting the like button. It don't cost you no money. Nobody knows that you hit the like button, family. Don't just, just hit the like button, man. I listen, this is why I speak about other people on my page, because I don't have no issues with anybody. I don't feel as though me talking about them is going to make you look at them and not watch me. Man, if that's what it is, that's what it is. But at the end of the day, man, I got love for all my people, and I want to make sure that all of us grow at the end of the day. Shout out to my brother Beatzilla, Black Alpha Network, and all our people, man. All our people, man. Terrain, all of our people, man. All right, family, we up out of here. I'm done ranting. I love y'all, man. I love all our people. I love Black people, and I'm going to stay doing whatever I have to do to push the narrative on this reparation stuff, man. We up out of here, man. One.